next, you're going to meet an urban farmer. Hello, I'm Shannon Skinner, and this is Extraordinary Women TV. My next guest is Emily Lemieux. She is the founder of City Seed Farms, a real-life city farmer. Before you meet her later in the segment, before we take a break, I'll have my regular Good to Know Minute when I ask my guests for their top success tip. You'll hear Erica's. Hello, Erica.
Hello, Shannon.
It's so nice to have you here today.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
I'm so glad you're here and you're not outside because it's a beautiful day. You could be out farming today.
It felt weird to be scrubbing the dirt off my hands in the middle of the hot afternoon to look presentable. Now, usually I'm getting out the hoe around this time.
Now you're an urban farmer, and there are not many of you in Toronto.
No.
And I think what's really interesting about your organization, it's the first bicycle-powered backyard farming business in Toronto. So,
can you believe it?
What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
Well, so I have a collection of 10 backyards, and me and my crew. So I'm actually I have another full-time person, but so it's us, and then we kind of have a periphery of helpers, and we go into your yard and transform it into a productive vegetable garden. So, from tilling the lawn under, that's the first thing that happens, and then planting in the next spring. And then we take the produce and we sell it to farmers markets and restaurants. And the landowners get a portion of the vegetables in the form of a weekly box delivered to their front porch.
This is a novel idea. Now, you're a young woman. And I know that you're still in university, you're doing your master's.
Yeah.
How did you come up with this idea of City Seed Farms?
Well, it was actually just being inspired by others who are doing similar things, and it was kind of a succession of events, I guess. And it started 3 years ago at a conference at U of T. I was sitting next to another young woman who told me that she was a backyard farmer in Toronto. And I was like, that's a thing? People do that? And that was really what got the wheels in motion. And so yeah, she was the founder of Young Urban Farmers. So from that moment onward, my interest in backyard farming grew and grew and grew. And it went from a hobby, I volunteered with the Young Urban Farmers, into, it was 2 falls ago that I decided to just take on my own operations. Were
you at all scared when you started this? I went, oh my God, what am I doing? This is so out of my comfort zone.
You know what? Yes, there were moments where I'd catch myself and be like, what? Are you sure you can do this? But no. Overall, every step of the way, I found it to be much easier than I thought it would be. All it took was that initial step outside your comfort zone of saying, can I do this? I can do this. Flipping it and saying I can, and just doing it. So, making a brochure to hand out to my neighbors and say, would you like to see part of your backyard farmed? That was kind of scary to print off this brochure and go door to door and put it in people's mailboxes. But the fact that I got such a positive response right away and had 8 people on my street say, yeah, go for it. That would be awesome. We've been meaning to garden in our backyard, but we haven't got around to it. It gave me such a boost of confidence.
Well, so you had 8 people right away, and then you quickly grew from there.
Yeah. I had 8 people that week that were interested, and so I went and looked at all the yards, and now we have a criteria that the plot should be 25 by 25 feet or larger, so that because the reason we get to have those stipulations is because we've had so many people offer that we're actually able to just pick the ones that would be most efficient for us to get to by bicycle. So close, big, and sunny. And that's pretty neat that we're able to like pick and choose like that.
So the idea is that you deliver all the produce, everything's delivered by bicycle.
Yeah.
So you really minimize your carbon footprint, obviously.
Yeah, well, I thought, so there's not many places where it would be efficient to bike around, to have a farming operation where everything is by bike. But if there was one place where it would be efficient, Toronto is that place where, you know, you have so many farmers markets and restaurants and land all in close proximity. So we thought, why not give that a try?
So you got started and you have staff working for you now?
Yeah.
So when did you actually launch City Seed Farms?
Launched it in the fall of 2010. So
Okay.
this is our second growing season.
And you have staff working for you. This is really great.
Yeah.
You deliver your produce by bicycle. You're growing. What have been some of the challenges that you've faced?
Well, you know, I would be lying if I said that finding yards was challenging, because luckily it wasn't. I would say one of our challenges was finding greenhouse space. Greenhouse space is hard to come by in Toronto, and I didn't want to have that be the one thing where I had to, you know, travel hours outside of the city to pick up seedlings. So that was a challenge. I mean, weather fluctuations is another challenge, but the style of farming that I'm doing, one of the things is diversify. And so if you have a bunch of different crops and a bunch of just different families of crops, then no matter what the weather is, there's something that's going to do well in it. Whether it's like really hot, dry conditions or really rainy, you'll get one of your crops at least that will be a bumper crop.
And you managed to get financial backing.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is really intriguing.
Yeah. It's a tried and true method. It's called spin farming, and it's actually a style of farming that's becoming really popular in North America.
So what does spin? Okay.
Oh yes.
What does spin stand for?
It stands for small plot intensive.
Okay.
And the idea is that with less than an acre of land, you can make a profit. So it was started by a couple in Saskatoon, and they had a few acres outside of the city, and they had some issues like around pests. I think there was deer problems, and I think wind was a big problem for them. And they sold their farm and they moved closer to the city, and they actually ended up, I believe, renting land within the city limits. So, and it was less than an acre over multiple plots, and they found they were making more money. And so they wanted to share that business model with other farmers that maybe didn't have access to land, and wanted to try something similar, and thought, you know, but I can't if I don't have more than an acre and if I don't have my own farm. But this idea is that you don't have to own land. And it's also just, I think one of their taglines is just, anyone, anywhere can be a farmer, which I love. That I was like, all right.
Anyone, anywhere can be a farmer.
Yeah.
Even you. Now, Erica, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
This means it's my good to know minute. When I ask my guests for their top success tip, I know you've got one, so jump right in there.
Okay. My top success tip would be a positive attitude. The difference between saying, can I do it, and I can do it is huge. So just, you know, believe in yourself, and really you can get whatever you want done.
That's good to know. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more with Erica Lemieux, an urban farmer. So stay where you are. Hi, I'm Shannon Skinner. Welcome back to the show. I'm speaking with Emily Lemieux. She is the founder of City Seed Farms, a real urban farmer. Now, how many plots of land are you farming right now in Toronto?
This year we have 10.
Okay.
So it's not much more than last year, but we have expanded on 2 of the yards, which actually is a lot of land, because a couple of them are just, kind of soccer field type backyards. So 10.
10. And what kind of produce are you, generally speaking, are you farming?
So this year we're focusing on leafy greens and the more like quick to grow crops. So we've got kale, Swiss chard, arugula, spinach, all kinds of lettuces, and Chinese cabbage, and all of these leafy greens where you can grow a ton in small spaces. And then on top of that, carrots, beets, and radishes, and spring onions.
Sounds really healthy, and it's making me hungry, actually. Now, your education is interesting. You've studied environmental sciences, and you also have a certificate in farm management. Now, I had no idea that you could get a certificate in farm management.
Yeah, it's actually a novel and amazing concept, and the idea is that farmers come in and offer their wisdom to novice farmers or wannabe farmers, and they come and let you know the things they've learned over the years. And that doesn't get to happen very often, that a farmer is paid for his knowledge, you know what I mean? And so it's neat. This group called Everdale Organic Farm out in Guelph, they've started to do this program. And so we'd have a different speaker every week, giving us going over one part of farming, like either your taxes or, like all sorts of things that you wouldn't initially think of.
The business, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it was wonderful.
So what do your parents think of you? I mean, you've started this when you were still in school, City Seed Farms. You have been in a lot of media. There's been a lot of interest in you very quickly. Yeah. You're doing something that's quite unusual. What do your parents, what do they have to say?
Well, they know I'm a wacky person. So I think when I came to them and said, I'm starting an urban farm, I think they initially were like, oh, Erica strikes again. But they've been so supportive. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, they've become my biggest fans. It took some convincing. I had to convince them that it would be a success, but yeah, they've been great.
Now, if anyone that's watching is interested in doing something similar, starting their own farm or turning their neighbor's plot into something that they can generate some income and healthy food from. I mean,
a field of broccoli.
A field of broccoli. Where can they start? I mean, what can they do?
Okay, so to any young farmer or wannabe farmer, I would say the first thing to do is tap into your community. Find out what resources you have on hand, because it'll be different wherever you go. And so, I mean, I was looking around for, like for instance, in the West End we have the Food Share headquarters. So at the headquarters they have like a soil scientist there and a compost specialist, and I was able to volunteer with them and find out all about composting and how to build my own soil in an organic way. And so yeah, I would say tip 1, tap into your community and just start finding supporters and collaborators, and partnerships. And then, make a brochure and try to find people who are willing to part with a part of their yard.
Make a brochure.
Yeah, so essentially you're finding people who have space but no time,
right,
and matching them up with you who has time but no space.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then, I mean, from there, oh my gosh, well, you have to get all the tools and start planting.
And of course, they can always visit your inspiring website. There's lots of great photos of healthy greens and whatnot. And what is the URL?
It's cityseedfarms.com.
Okay, great. And can people get in touch with you that way?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Good, super.
Go to our website or come visit us at the farmers market. We go to 2 farmers markets in West Toronto. So come find us and talk to us over a bag of veggies.
Do you think this idea of the urban farming is going to take off?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's taking off. I see it flourishing all around. So maybe it's because I'm in the urban farming world and that's my life, but I think that you're going to see a lot more where this came from, in the next 5 years.
Well, let's hope so. Well, Erica, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. I wish you all the best with what you're doing, and I'm going to come find you at a farmer's market.
Yeah.
One day, very, very soon.
Awesome.
My fridge is empty. I'm coming to find you. Thanks again.
I'll hold some carrots for you.
Well, this is the end of the show, and if you are interested in finding out more about Erica Lemieux and her organization, City Seed Farms, more about this interview, I'd encourage you to visit my website at extraordinarywomentv.com. Of course, at the website you can find out all sorts of information about other guests, past interviews, upcoming guests, more about me. You can always find me on Twitter. Follow me, I'll follow you back. I'm on Facebook, so there's lots of places to connect with me. Well, if you are interested in transforming your life, I hope these stories have inspired you. You've been watching Extraordinary Women TV. I'm Shannon Skinner. See you soon.